Mixed race imposter syndrome. What are you? Where are you from? These are questions I've been asked my entire life. And if you are mixed, you know where I'm coming from with this. It's like living a life of privilege and racism all in one. And along with that can come the feeling of being an imposter. Not black enough, not white enough. In this video, I'm going to explore 3 things. 1, my personal experiences with being a biracial black white person. 2, my observations on the types of mixed people. And 3, why asking what are you is actually a microaggression. This is Career Interrupted. I'm Shauna, and I want to help you get the job of your dreams, no matter your race or where you're from. This is the career channel for professionals who value diversity and inclusion. If that sounds like your thing, make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell to get notified when I drop a new video. This video is going to be about my own personal experiences being a mixed person who looks sort of racially ambiguous. Racially ambiguous people like me tend to get asked these questions around what are you or where you're from. And those questions are really problematic. And honestly, they are microaggressions. It's things like this that actually motivate me to do the work that I do, helping underrepresented job seekers. Like you, I know what it feels like to not feel seen. Okay, before we dive in, here's the context. I am mixed black and white. I live in Canada and I'm in a community that's predominantly white. According to my observations, living on planet Earth for over 40 years as a mixed person, mixed people tend to fall into one of these 3 categories. Mixed person type 1 is Drake. People assume you're black for a bunch of different reasons. They just have that assumption that you are a black person. Mixed person type 2 is Mariah Carey, where people assume that you're white. Mixed person type 3 is Meghan Markle. In this case, people are just generally kind of baffled by your appearance. They don't know where to categorize you. This is where I see myself falling. The racially ambiguous mixed person. I will not speak to the lived experience of a mixed person who looks black or white. And when we have not lived those experiences in that skin, it is our job to shut up and listen. Have you lived your life as a mixed person who looks black or white? Share an experience in the comments. So people are going to say, but Shauna, you look white, because I've heard that many times over the years. And this, honestly, I'm not even going to address it. Sounds like a you thing, not a me thing. My lived experiences for 40 plus years suggest that most folks will tend to see me as racially ambiguous. So not up for discussion. When I was in junior high, I was waiting in line at McDonald's with my friend Julie. This boy comes up to me and he says, "What are you anyways?" I look at him and I say, "Hungry." I was puzzled. What a weird question. Julie said, "I'm pretty sure, Shauna, that's not what he meant." Julie was smart, maybe more observant than I was. Clearly, that question was directed more towards, what race are you? Or where are you from? Last week, I was at the doctor's office. I was with my son and I was minding my mixed, racially ambiguous business. Total stranger tries to strike up a conversation with me at the doctor's office. His opener is, "Where are you from?" To which I reply, "Down the street," because that was the answer. These questions are so inherently problematic. They are, in fact, microaggressions. Now, I'm not saying every time you ask someone where they're from, it's a microaggression. But what I am saying is context matters. Before you go on and say, these people are just trying to be friendly, you're being overly sensitive, let's consider the definition of microaggression. A microaggression is an indirect, subtle, or unintentional discrimination against members of a marginalized group. I know that these questions are microaggressions because they make me feel uncomfortable. Interestingly, based on my experience and observations over the years, the person who typically asks this question is not a member of a minority group. The person who usually asks this question is a white person. Okay, so the question, "Where are you from?" doesn't always feel like a microaggression. I've had conversations that go a little something like this. Oh, hey, I'm from Egypt. You've got a really Mediterranean look about you. Are you from overseas too? To which I'd reply something like, so cool. What brings you to Canada? I'm actually Canadian. My dad's Black and my mom's white. This does not feel like a microaggression at all. And I think it's because the context and the intention around the question feels really, really different. In the lineup at McDonald's, at the doctor's office, when a stranger approaches and asks that blunt question, where are you from or what are you? It feels like it's self-serving, like they need to know the answer so they can categorize me somehow. In this example, the second example where I'm being asked, are you from Egypt or whatever, this sounds more genuine, like this need to or desire to connect with me in some sort of different way. Instead of saying like, what are you? I'm going to put you in this box. Lived experience plays a big role in this. I know in my life, it'd be pretty rare for me to be asked by a Black person, what are you? I don't know if I've ever been asked that question. Living life as any sort of visible minority, I think does bring different perspective and sensitivity to questions like this one. Imagine this scenario. I see someone out in public. I cannot easily identify their gender. And I walk up to that person and I say, what are you? I cannot imagine a circumstance where I would do this or where this is the right thing to do. The question is insensitive. The question is wrong. And quite frankly, the answer is none of my business. Instead, if I cannot identify someone's gender and I want to interact with them, I should ask something more like, what pronouns would you like me to use when I address you? Simply put, the first question, what are you, is self-serving. And the second question, help me understand what pronoun to use, is more like a show of respect. It's saying, I want to respect you. Can you give me some guidance for that? When you ask someone who is mixed race, what are you? Think about the baggage that goes along with that. The question that you are asking is a very big one. You are asking me to answer that question and define who I am purely in terms of my race. That's pretty problematic. Everybody has more dimensions to themselves than that. Remember, I'm also hungry. On top of this, my own experience with racial identity has been complicated my entire life. When you are asking me that question, you are bringing the trauma right straight to the surface. And I know I'm not alone with this because so many mixed people do struggle with imposter syndrome. I grew up during a time where we didn't really have conversations about race. I grew up in the I don't see color era. I knew my family looked different from other families. I never saw my family reflected in my social circles or on TV or anything like that. I knew there was something different, but we didn't actually talk about those differences or how those differences might impact our own individual identities and sense of belonging later in life. And then later on in my life, I did actually go on to see my family represented on mainstream media in a TV commercial. And people actually found this commercial where there was a Black dad, a white mom, and a mixed daughter really offensive. So Cheerios had put out this commercial with a mixed family, and they actually had to go disable the YouTube comments on the General Mills YouTube account because there were so many people chiming in with how gross and disgusting and wrong this family composition was. Whenever my family would give greeting cards, especially to my dad, it really bothered me that the family never looked like ours. The family on the cards were always white. So I would take a brown marker and color in my dad's skin and darken down my brother and I a little bit so it looked a little bit more reflective of who we are. I didn't see myself or my family represented anywhere my entire life. I thought it was weird, but I never spoke those words out loud until I was well in my 30s. On Saturdays, I would watch Soul Train with my dad. And on Sundays, I would watch Hee Haw with my nanny. So stop asking mixed people or people in general, what are you? From that place of your own desire to put people into compartments. It's a problem and it's a microaggression when you're asking the question in that way. It speaks to your desire to place me and other mixed people and other racially ambiguous people into some sort of neat and tidy, organized system. It doesn't exist. Trust me, I've been looking my entire life to find it. It is not there. So stop asking, what are you? I have gone most of my life without having a box to check, so don't try me. So what are you? I am Black and I am white. I am privilege and I am racism. I am underrepresented, I am unseen. I am uncategorized, I am crossing boundaries. I'm the future and I'm mixed race. Don't ask. Make sure to subscribe. This is the career channel for professionals who value diversity and inclusion. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.